Think about it. Think about it. Think about it.
Kick. Think about it. 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 Think about it.
Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025. We are here this morning for the Administrative Matters meeting, and I call this meeting to order. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, welcome, everyone. My name is Kristen Stevens. I'm Chair of the Board of County Commissioners, and with me are my fellow commissioners, Commissioner Jody Shattuck McNally, also Chair Pro Tem, and Commissioner John Kafalis. To my right from the clerk's office, we have Diane Cheney. We have Lorinda Volker, our county manager, with us this morning, Tom Clayton from Public Affairs, and Sarah Martin from the Commissioner's office. So we begin these meetings with public comment, and no one has signed up, but is there anyone in the audience who wanted to give public comment? Okay, I don't see any hands raised for public comment. Sarah, was there anyone who wanted to call in with public comment?
No, Commissioner.
Okay. Last chance for public comment for anyone in the audience. You'd have 3 minutes to speak. Okay. We will close public comment, and we'll move on to our next agenda item, which is approval of the minutes. And Commissioner Kafalis, I'll ask you to make that motion, please.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Welcome. I move to approve the minutes for the week of August 25th, 2025.
Thank you, Commissioner. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 3-0, and we'll move on to Sarah Martin with our upcoming schedule.
This is the Commissioner's schedule for September 8th through the 13th, 2025. On Monday, September 8th, from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., there will be a work session for a Climate Smart Future Ready update in the Commissioner's conference room on the second floor. From 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m., there will be a work session with Leslie Ellis, Director of Community Planning, Infrastructure, and Resources in the Commissioner's conference room on the second floor. From 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., there will be land use items with the Development Review Team. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be in the hearing room on the first floor or virtually via Zoom. On Tuesday, September 9th, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., there will be an Administrative Matters meeting in the hearing room on the first floor. From 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m., there will be administrative direction to county management in the Sprague Lake Conference Room on the second floor. From 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the South Platte Basin Roundtable meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be at 548 Front Street in Fairplay or virtually via Zoom. From 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., Commissioner Kafalis will attend the Environmental and Science Advisory Board meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be in the Carter Lake Conference Room on the first floor or virtually via Zoom. On Wednesday, September 10th, from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m., Commissioners may attend the Poudre School District Advanced Manufacturing Lab Grant Opening Event at 201 South Impala Drive in Fort Collins. From 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m., Commissioner Kafalis may attend the Workforce Development Board meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be in the hearing room on the first floor or virtually via Zoom. From 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., Commissioners may attend the Colorado State University Community Breakfast event at the Canvas Stadium at the 4th Floor Stadium Club at 751 West Pitkin Street in Fort Collins. From 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual National Association of Counties Rural Action Caucus meeting. From 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual National Association of Counties Environment, Energy, and Land Use meeting. From 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual Regional Opioid Abatement Learning Forum. From 1 p.m. to 3:30 p.m., Commissioner Kafalis will attend the Agricultural Advisory Board meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be at 1525 Blue Spruce Drive in Fort Collins or virtually via Zoom. From 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., there will be a Commissioner/Planning Commission work session. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be in the Boyd Lake Conference Room on the first floor or virtually via Zoom. On Thursday, September 11th, from 7:30 a.m. to 10 a.m., Commissioner Stevens may attend the Fort Collins Downtown Development Authority Board meeting at Innisphere Ventures at 320 Vine Drive in Fort Collins. From 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual Colorado Fire Commissioner Prescribed Fire subcommittee meeting. From 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Larimer County Interagency Oversight Group meeting. Location will be announced prior to the meeting. From 1:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Office on Aging Advisory Council meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be at 1501 Blue Spruce Drive in Fort Collins or virtually via Zoom. From 3 p.m. to 4 p.m., Commissioner Stevens may participate in the virtual Fort Collins Urban Renewal Authority Finance Committee meeting. From 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., Commissioners Cavalis and Shattuck McNally may attend the Neighbor to Neighbor Welcome Home event, Welcome Home Benefit at the Lincoln Center at 417 West Magnolia Street in Fort Collins. On Friday, September 12th from 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m., there will be the Larimer County Innovation Awards in the hearing room on the first floor. From 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., Commissioners may participate in the virtual Counties and Commissioners Acting Together member check-in. On Saturday, September 13th from 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m., Commissioner Cavalis will host a community conversation for the LaPorte community at Mio My Pie at 3310 West County Road 54G in LaPorte. Topic will be announced prior to the meeting. And from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Hearts to Horses Lucky Hearts Gala at Embassy Suites at 4705 Clydesdale Parkway in Loveland.
Thank you, Sarah. Commissioners, any corrections or additions? Commissioner Shattuck McNally.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Sarah. And Melissa and Brenda, I say it every week, but you guys have a lot to manage. So I'm going to work backwards. Sarah, on Saturday, September 13th, I am not going to the gala. Now I will be in Chaffee County talking about wildfire mitigation with the commissioners there as I kind of peruse through three or four counties on a road trip. So, and then on September 11th, Thursday, I am speaking at the Loveland Habitat Humanity event, and I believe that's at 9:30 to 10, and that's in person. I don't have the address yet, but I can get that to you. I'm looking for it right now. I forgot where they told me to go, and then also I probably there might be. I'll find the dates, but I might go to the evening Loveland recognition for September 11th. I think that will be at the city of. I think it starts at 7. It's at the City of Loveland Municipal Building, and I think those are the only changes that I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Cavalis.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Just one item to add, and I don't have all the details, but in commemoration of September 11th, on Thursday, September 11th, there will be the annual stair climb that occurs at the CSU Canvas Stadium. And I just saw that on Facebook, so I don't recall all the details. I think it starts around 4:30, but I'm sure you can find out and let me know where I need to be when. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Sarah, just a few things for me. On September 10th from 12 to 1, they've finally scheduled the Works Allocation Committee, so I'll be attending that, and that's a remote meeting. I will also, I'm going to try to attend that same stair event, and that is at Canvas Stadium on September 11th at 4:30. And then I thought I had the Neighbor to Neighbor Welcome Home benefit on my schedule, and I guess I don't. I think I even already bought tickets for it. So if you could add that to my schedule, and that is it for me. Thank you. Commissioner Shattuck McNally.
Madam Chair, since you're both going, I'm just going to stop by the September 11th, 4:30 stair climb as well before I head over to Neighbor. So, but I'll only be there from 4:30 to 5:15. Thank you.
All right. I think that's it for us. Thank you, Sarah. So we will move on to the consent agenda. And we have three items of three abatements on the consent agenda. So that's a petition for abatement or refund of taxes. There is more information on that on our website. We have 8 agreements on the agenda. First is a professional services agreement. This is for our fleet fuel site services. The vendor ET Technologies will provide, inspect, repair, and maintain replacement to county fuel sites. And the total dollar amount is $90,025 for inspection services, an unknown amount if we need future maintenance. Next item is the Hewlett-Packard Enterprise Company Property Tax Abatement Agreement. This would be a tax incentive to support Hewlett-Packard's Enterprise Company's significant investment in the Fort Collins facility to establish it as a research and development center of excellence. The company's estimated $54 million investment will support retention of the current workforce and will focus on advancing the integration of the state-of-the-art semiconductors into server storage and networking products. And this term will be through December 31st of 2031, and the total dollar amount is not to exceed $785,559. Next, we have a memorandum of understanding for competency-involved client services for the Office of Civil and Forensic Mental Health for the Colorado Department of Human Services. This is for funding for transitional housing and supplemental expenses for individuals who are justice involved and ordered for competency evaluation. That term goes through July 31st of 2026, and the total dollar amount is $355,440. Next is an intergovernmental agreement for wildfire recovery and risk reduction. This is for reimbursement of expenses related to wildfire recovery and risk reduction related to the Alexander Mountain fire. City of Loveland is the direct recipient of emergency watershed protection funds from the Natural Resources Conservation Services and will reimburse Larimer County for expenses incurred for structure protection design and installation performed by the county at Cedar Creek in the Cedar Cove area. Total dollar amount is $99,999. Next is a revocable right-of-way encroachment agreement. This agreement allows the ranch to construct a permanent entry feature and steel truss archway over Arena Circle west of the fairgrounds intersection. The City of Loveland does control right-of-way at this location. And a previous agreement of this was signed earlier, but the city required 3 minor changes, and so that's why it's coming back before us. Next, we have a bid 2514 contract award for bridge replacement over Dale Creek, and the total dollar amount is approximately $1.1 million. Then a U.S. Forest Service agreement modification number 2 for weed control in the Alexander Mountain burn scar. This modification allocates an additional $14,126 for weed control in the burn scar area in the U.S. Forest Service lands, and that term extends through December 31st of 2028. And finally, a professional services agreement regarding architecture and engineering firm at the ranch. This allows that firm to provide comprehensive design services for the ranch complex, and the total dollar amount is approximately $7.9 million. And then the last items on the agenda are liquor licenses. We have a special event liquor license permit, 6% for the ER Owners Rally in Estes Park. There's a liquor license renewal for Ride a Cart and Cascade Mini Golf in Estes Park. That's a beer and wine license. A special event permit, 6% Friends of Laughing Buck Farm Fall Festival and in Fort Collins. And then finally, a liquor license report of changes for Funkworks LLC for a brew pub license. So that is it for the consent agenda. Commissioner Shattuck McNally, will you would either commissioner want to remove anything from the consent agenda? All right, Commissioner Shattuck McNally, will you make the motion on this item?
Certainly, Madam Chair. I move to approve the consent agenda for September 2nd, 2025.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 That motion passes 3-0. Are there any guests this morning? No guests? Commissioner Cavalis, any guests? No?
Yeah, all of these folks.
Yeah. Well, you're all our guests, so welcome. Indeed. So we will move on to our discussion items. And our first discussion item is a proclamation declaring September 2025 as Workforce Development Month. And we have Mark Johnston, our Economic and Workforce Development Director, here to tell us a little bit about this item. So welcome, Mark.
Good morning. Nice to see you all. Hello, county commissioners, county leadership, of course, those online and in the audience. My name is Mark Johnston, and I am, as Commissioner Stevens mentioned, our Economic and Workforce Development Director. And here we are coming together the day after Labor Day, which is a holiday that honors the contributions and achievements of the American worker. Super grateful for the opportunity to speak on the prior to the proclamation of Workforce Development Month as I joined 10 Colorado workforce regions, the state of Colorado, and the national public workforce system this month. So I've got maybe 5, 6, 7 minutes of some remarks, a handful of guests that I'd like to then bring up and speak about this as well. But workforce development is more than just jobs. It's about creating opportunity, strengthening families, and building thriving communities. The public workforce system, which is administered here at Larimer County's Economic and Workforce Development Department, and Commissioner Kafalis, I'm looking at you as our board liaison chair of also the Workforce Development Board. Our mission really is to connect residents with modern job search skills, training, work-based learning, career opportunities that then match the needs of business. So what we do all day, every day. And when I speak of business, small, medium, large-size businesses here in Larimer County. It's a critical investment in the economy, and through partnerships with education, industry, economic development, nonprofits, community-based organization, other public entities. It really builds this foundation of long-term economic vitality. A little bit about our local impact for the audience. Across our history, tens of thousands of people have been served. But going back to our most recent calendar year, 2024, our full annual calendar year, nearly 10,000 residents supported, of which 4,000 raised their hand for deeper, more direct staff intervention. We call these staff-directed services. That led to over 9,000 unique employment career counseling appointments, sometimes singulars, sometimes a person 10, 11, 12, over 9,000 counseling appointments. Over nearly 900 unique upskillings delivered through our support, 1,800 wraparound supportive services, removing economic barriers for those pursuing employment, education, training. Over 330 unique people connected to registered apprenticeships or paid internships, all in calendar year 24. I think it's a couple of noteworthy achievements real quick. Of those who raised their hand and said yes to staff-directed services, they came to us through unemployment wage verification with a little shy of $45,000 in total wage accumulation. That's prior. Once they raised their hand, once they then met with staff, received intervention, they left at almost $66 million in collective wage. So the power of workforce development really represented there in an economic chart. For every dollar invested, last program year, $7.48 was returned due to that funding investment. I think it's important for everybody to know these services support all people in our community, whether it's young people preparing for their first opportunities, adults who are at the poverty line looking to upskill for upward mobile opportunities, that laid off worker who's disconnected, maybe just someone who's trying to re-enter the labor force after, for whatever reason, taking time off. And then, of course, all the different employer partners. A handful of recognition. I'd like to extend my gratitude, of course, to all of you, the three of you, for your support, your belief in the power of this work, our county leadership for also that same belief, that same hopefulness. Like to also thank our full workforce development board. We have 7 of our executive committee members here. A handful of them will come up and say a few words. These are the folks who help kind of guide strategy, make sure we're on track with what the labor market needs. So super grateful for these individuals. And then, of course, the heartbeat of it all is the staff that we support, the dedicated staff who make services accessible and impactful across the county. Our department continues to adapt in the face of change, uncertainty, and all evolving labor market, and really, I'm incredibly proud of their resilience, their flexibility. Our 45 plus staff here on the 5th floor. In closing, looking ahead, Workforce Development Month then launches a variety of activities for us. So in September, you will see us featuring our story on our social feeds, our larimer.gov/EWD. You will see an open house that we're currently planning Wednesday, the 24th of September. Still working on the finer details and the time there, but a place for the community to come and learn. And then we conclude with our joint workforce board, where we come together for the Northern Colorado Workforce Symposium, where we expect about 300 hiring managers, HR leaders, community-based organizations to come and learn about the trends of workforce. We're going to host that out at the ranch here in Larimer County. So I'll leave it at that. But as I close, I would like to invite our chair of the Workforce Board, Julie Chilla from Lincoln Electric, off of the Harmony Corridor. We have Mark Christensen. He's our vice chair with Brinkman Construction. And we also have Janelle Highfill, an education partner with Front Range Community College. Just come up and speak a little bit before we conclude. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark. Welcome. Hello, and can you repeat your name, please?
Yeah, sure, thanks. I'm Julie Chilla. I'm the HR manager at Lincoln Electric here in Fort Collins, and I'm just super thankful to be part of the board and be able to witness the work that the board does. I'm thankful for commissioners that support the work. It's been eye-opening to see the services in the community and what it really can mean to an employer, and encouraging to me to change the way that we do business so that we can take advantage of these services and advocate for them in the workforce. So I'm very thankful to all of you for this, and that's it.
Thank you, Julie. Well, thank you for serving on the board. We appreciate your service.
You're welcome.
Is there anyone else that we had talked about? Mark, maybe? Is Mark here? Hello.
Morning. So I'm Mark Christensen. I've been in the construction industry for 35 years, my entire career, and 25 years of which have been in Larimer County, focusing on the Denver Front Range region. The thing about the construction industry is there's a very low barrier to entry with regard to that industry. And despite that, and the fact that it's living wage work. So there's a tremendous opportunity, I believe. But despite that, we have a very constrained labor force for the entire 35 years, even through the downturns. I was presented with the opportunity of joining the board 5 years ago. and was somewhat unaware of the opportunities through the county and the efforts put forth to put people to work. And I felt as though my contribution could be as somewhat of a liaison with workforce partners, private sector partnerships. And there is tremendous opportunities in Larimer County with regard to and I would say Denver as well, the entire Front Range with the vitality of the market. It's just the ability to connect those two sectors together between public and private. There's a huge opportunity. And I must say in the last 5 years, I've really been impressed with Mark and his team and very proud of the work that the board does in Larimer County to help, get people to work, training, and things like that. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Thanks for your service on the board. And Janelle. Janelle? Welcome.
Good morning. I'm Janelle Highfill. I'm the Associate Vice President of Workforce Development at Front Range Community College. And I just want to say, community colleges to me are all about workforce. I mean, you could argue that that is our mission, but it's really important that we don't do this work alone or in isolation. And so the efforts that you support, the efforts that Mark and his team support are really essential to helping us stay grounded in what the community needs, both at an individual level and at a business level. So we are honored and very appreciative to be part of the board and to be part of this work. And so thank you for supporting us.
Thank you, Janelle. Is there anyone else who wanted to speak? Do you have any questions for Mark or anyone? Or go ahead, Commissioner Kavalis, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thanks, colleagues. I do have 3 questions. The first one is easy. Is there an agenda for the September 30th Workforce Symposium? Because I haven't been able to locate one.
Yes.
And I would like to know where I can fit in.
Yep. There is an agenda. It's being finalized on the creative side, but the content is there. We will make sure the 3 of you have that, and then we'll make sure it's on our website as well.
Very good. I look forward to seeing the agenda.
You bet.
My second question is, appreciate your introductory comments and the comments of our colleagues on the Workforce Development Board. Could you say more about one of our areas of focus, which has to do with work-based learning?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you bet. Work-based learning, as I like to think of it, Commissioner, is a continuum of activities that connect people to the field. The field defined as an employer. So work-based learning can be anything from a job shadow, an informational interview, and then I cited, I think, 330 work-based learnings facilitated where that was at a deeper level, where people are matched with businesses. They're paid for that work where they're developing skills in the field. For young people, sometimes it's exploring that career to make sure they confirm interest before they invest the next step in some sort of skilling. Apprenticeships as well is a movement that has always been there, but it's being reinvigorated as we're really doing more and more work associated with skills first hiring. Some occupations require a 4-year degree, others don't. And those registered apprenticeships are really wonderful on ramps for someone who wants to earn and learn immediately.
Great. Thank you, sir. My last question, please.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. One of the things that I think we're all very proud of is our regionalism approach. Mm-hmm. Can you say more about the acronym READY, Regional
Yes.
Economic Development Initiative, I believe?
Yeah, you bet. So the Northern Colorado Regional Economic Development Initiative, imagine a coalition of 35 plus economic development offices from cities, other municipalities across Weld, Larimer, also Boulder County, local chambers, government entities, all working towards a common mission of how do we help build community from an economic development standpoint. We internally at Economic and Workforce marry our economic development work with then our superpower of talent development with business. And we're a unique approach on that, but that would be NOCO ready.
Great. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, you bet.
Thank you, Commissioner. Questions?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thanks, Mark. Thank you all for being here today. It's great to hear the viewpoints from the board, and I love that theme of I didn't realize all the things the county did or offered. And I hear that a lot as commissioner when I say, what is a commissioner? What does a commissioner do? And what does the county do? And you try to share all these things. And this is one of, I think, the hidden gems or really important work that is not always recognized. And one thing, I was at a presentation for Jose with his Monarch and his Latin or Hispanic group, and he was talking about the sustainability, and I saw, I was really proud to see that City of Fort Collins and Larimer County were both supporting this work to go back to small business owners and showing ways they can be sustainable and be environmental, like even fixing that little drip on the sink can save them money with water and things like that, and so, and also be part of the environmental kind of, not wasting water. And I know that you all, that's really important work because a lot of those small businesses maybe really struggled after the pandemic, and you all worked together with the health department and others to really support and keep folks going. So it's so hard to start over if you have to stop. And so could you explain a little bit about that? Because I feel like that also aligns with kind of our strategic plan and our goals with our climate smart, future ready. I'm really proud and excited to hear about that work.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. So you're absolutely right, Monarca. Larimer County makes an investment. It is leveraged with City of Fort Collins Economic Health Office investment, and it does exactly what you do. It contracts with an external provider who is in the field working with small businesses, many of them underrepresented businesses, to do those types of climate consultations that you just mentioned, whether it's carbon reduction, whether it's water. It's bottom line cost savings for those small businesses. So, we've been proud to work in partnership on that, and it is part of the county's Climate Smart Future Ready plan.
Thank you for sharing that, and thank you for that partnership. There's lots of, like I said, you're a hidden gem, and lots of things that you do that maybe a lot of folks don't realize that's the county at work, and the regionalism and the NOCO Ready. I've been hearing lots of positive comments and that's Larimer County. So for the last 4 or 5 months, you and your department and some of the work that you're doing is really starting to rise up in a lot of my conversations, and I just wanted to share with you they've all been extremely positive, and so thank you for the work.
So good. We are doing our best at sharing our story. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you for the members of the board that came to talk. It's really great to hear from people in the community that this, the work that you're doing is impactful, and that they didn't know maybe about some of this work previously, and that this was helping them, get their workforce ready and have a workforce. So appreciate those voices. One of the questions I had when you talked about the thousands of people that you help, and that those numbers were pretty staggering. For the 1,800 people that receive wraparound services, what kind of services was that include? So that's clearly, there's some barriers that people have to employment, especially if they haven't worked in a while, or they worked in a workforce that's very different from the workforce now. Can you just explain a little bit about what that means?
Yeah, you bet. So calendar year 24, 10,000 served, of which 4,000 said yes to more, of which there's deeper intensive case management services for people who are in low-income homes, for disconnected youth, and then laid off workers whose skills are in decline, or perhaps their occupation's in decline in the market. So one of the key services we offer outside of training, work-based learning, it is these wraparound supportive services. So you can imagine it as simple as a new set of tools for the young adult who finds a breakthrough opportunity at a local mechanic, to work clothing, to childcare assistance, to most things that could be an economic barrier for entering the labor force, or that could interrupt somebody's education. Sometimes it's as simple as could I get a little bit of support with auto insurance? Because my employer is not on public transportation. I still need my vehicle to get there. So those are examples of those 1,800.
Yeah, and I imagine that employers, and I'm going to look at the employers, that they're probably willing to not let it. I mean, if you need construction workers, if they need a new pair of boots, that's not the thing that you want. I mean, you want that staff, right? And so you want to make sure that happens. I mean,
come
something
job
small,
ready. Yeah.
Right. Well, wonderful. I appreciate that work, and that's really great to have that in-depth work for people. It's intimidating to go into the workforce if you haven't been in it a while or don't understand it if you're a young person. But as was said today, there's lots of jobs that actually pay more, and that can be really rewarding and really great careers, and sort of middle class jobs that people maybe didn't think that they could be in, that with a little bit of skill they might be able to do that, and obviously need some help in the trades. So thank you. Well, this is wonderful. Appreciate you all being here this morning. Well, I will let Commissioner Kafalis read the proclamation and make the motion, and then we might make some comments after that. But thank you again, Mark. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You're very kind. Allow me to do the proclamation. Whereas the Larimer County Economic and Workforce Development Department and broader Colorado public workforce system is committed to supporting a Colorado for all, including workers with disabilities, veterans, justice-involved, youth, new Americans, laid-off workers, adults experiencing poverty, and all communities. And whereas globalization, market forces, demographic shifts, and technological advances are shaping our economy today and require workforce solutions that are agile and innovative. And whereas hundreds of workforce professionals within the Colorado public workforce system and dozens at our local Larimer County level are committed to supporting a thriving environment for workers and employers. And whereas Colorado's workforce has access to a variety of workforce development services, including modern job search support, connection to employment and career counseling, access to digital literacy, work-based learning, and individual training account solutions to competitively position themselves within our local labor market. And whereas our locally driven workforce system is business-led, aligned with educators, employers, and economic developers to encourage more diversity in hiring, enhance regional workforce development, and ensure we are building the labor force that businesses need to make Colorado the best place to work. And whereas Larimer County Economic and Workforce Development is supported by our Larimer County Board of County Commissioners, Larimer County Leadership, and a Workforce Development Board with members stretching across private, nonprofit, and public entities to help advise and shape local programming. And whereas the Larimer County Economic and Workforce Development Department seeks to innovate and advance strategies to educate stakeholders of the talent and workforce development ecosystem in Colorado in order to build a pipeline of skilled talent and quality jobs for workers to prosper. And whereas in 2024, the Larimer County Economic and Workforce Development Department served 9,945 job seekers, of which 3,922 received in-depth staff-assisted services resulting in a collective post-service wage increase of $18,690,759. When comparing wages prior to staff-assisted services versus wages after receiving those services, it's a big increase, and it's a great boon to our economy. Whereas the Colorado workforce system has helped more than 13,300 employers navigate and thrive in today's worker shortage landscape by ensuring customers receive consistent business and talent acquisition services statewide across 8 core services, including screening, job posting, hiring, event facilitation, and rapid response layoff support. And now, therefore, the moment you've all been waiting for, now, therefore, the Larimer County Board of County Commissioners of Larimer County, Colorado, do hereby proclaim the month of September as Workforce Development Month and call this observance to the attention of our community members on this day. Shall I do the motion? Yes, I move to approve the proclamation declaring September 2025 as Economic and Workforce Development Month.
Thank you, Commissioner. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion?
Just quick. Oh,
Yep, that's what further discussion is. So, yep.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. Again, thank you all for being here today. Like I said, I appreciate the comments you made about not learning all the things that we learn about what happens and what the county does. And I hope you'll continue to be ambassadors and help folks understand what skills and resources are available, especially in this really different kind of innovative economy with we have gigs and side gigs and AI and all these new things that even employers and even some of us trying to figure out how we navigate all of that and use it in the appropriate way. We know very much that a strong economy, a thriving economy builds with a well-educated and strong workforce. And for our businesses from, one with 1 or 2 employees all the way up to major employers like Larimer County, this is very, very important to have. It's one of our most valuable assets. And you hear me say I'm a lucky commissioner because we have 2,000 amazing employees here at Larimer County who do fantastic work every single day. And I think that is, for everyone, one of our most valuable assets is our people, our residents and people who work and do the work every day and find passion and purpose in that. And I think that's also really important that people have meaningful work. It really leads to meaningful lives and just ripples out to the community. I'm really glad when people are looking at Lori and some others, all those who are really passionate about counting or technical things, or people like Lori Hodges who just lives and breathes chaos with calm. It's so grateful that people find their passions and able to work in that area because it just makes us better. The engine of economic growth really must be fueled by inclusivity and opportunity for all, and a really not wise move, or maybe a little bit of a short-sighted move for any kind of society or community is not to accept kind of not bringing everyone up on board, just leaving those who maybe are not seen as valuable workers after we just had Labor Day and how important this is for every single worker, but make sure that we include everyone, not for just trying to grow, but just make sure that we all are inclusive and have opportunities for all, because if we don't have everyone thriving and bringing us together, our community won't thrive. And so I think the importance and impacts of the economic workforce is just really extremely valuable, and it ripples on in ways that we maybe can't measure or understand, but it's invaluable work. And I really appreciate all of you volunteering on the board. And Mark and your team are just so passionate, and just thank you for your leadership, and really grateful for the partnerships and the regionalism, and just really grateful for this time today and this proclamation. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Kapalas?
Thank you. I think the proclamation says it all. Good detail. The various areas of focus that we address to create this really sustainable and balanced regional ecosystem to try to help folks get jobs, try to help employers find good employees, the different sectors of our community. I appreciate that Project Self-Sufficiency folks are here, the nonprofits, the Front Range Community College, private sector, public-private, that's what it's all about. So I just want to express gratitude, certainly to staff. I see a number of staff folks here, and they do extraordinary work, very competent work, a lot of passion for sure. I appreciate when you invite me to your taco lunches. I hope there's one coming up. And I also want to express a lot of gratitude to the folks on the Workforce Development Board. I always learn something when I come to the meetings. I can't always come, and I appreciate friendships, relationships with Julie and Mark and Janelle and other folks. David, I mean, it's just a good thing, and I think these are very uncertain times, and we provide some measure of grounding and some level of certainty because we keep our eyes on the prize and just keep on. An old song that I remember, keep on trucking.
Thank you, Commissioner.
You're welcome.
I'll just share my thanks as well. Thank you to the Workforce Board. Thank you to everyone who's here. Mark, thank you to you and the staff in Workforce Development. The numbers are pretty staggering. 10,000 people, I mean, that's a significant portion of our population that you've helped find jobs. And as Commissioner Shattuck McNally was saying, meaningful work is really important. But having a job that actually pays so you can afford to live in our community is also important. And knowing that this is a pathway out of poverty and knowing this is helping people really find what they want to do, maybe not for their whole life, but at least for part of their life is a really great service. And the additional wraparound services are really crucial for people who just, are a little bit lost in the process, right? I mean, maybe these are folks who haven't made a resume in 20 years or, don't understand some of the technology and some of those skills that are required for jobs now. So this is really great work. You should all be really proud of yourselves for the work that you do because of really uplifting people in our community. And as we said, there are a lot of people that may be marginalized that you help as well. People that really do need that extra hand, whether it be veterans or new Americans. We had someone talk about the new Americans several weeks ago about the new Americans that they employed and that experience of trying to translate in a language that didn't have a written version. And so we know that employers face a lot of challenges in finding workforce, but we appreciate their openness to bringing in people who, may not have worked in a while, may not understand everything, but are very willing to work. And, having been a manager and a supervisor in my life, know that the willingness to work is, you can teach almost anything, but that fire in the belly, that willingness to work is really what you're looking for. And so just for folks out there, know that you can be trained and that these folks are here to help you. I often refer young people, because I have a lot of friends who say, my teenager, my 20-something-year-old can't find a job. So that may be part of your 10,000. I hope so. But I say you should look at Workforce. They have so many great skills. They have so many great programs for young people to sort of introduce them to jobs and how to go through an interview process and stuff. So all the work you do is remarkable. Thank you very much. And we're happy to proclaim this month as Economic and Workforce Development Month. So thank you. With that, we have a motion on the table. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 3-0. And we will pause for a minute to take a photo with these proclamations. And we'll welcome everyone up to do that. We are back for our second agenda item, and it is a proclamation declaring September 2025 as Emergency Preparedness Month. We have Lori Hodges from the Office of Emergency Management, the director of that department. And welcome, Lori. Ricardo Perez is also here, so welcome to Ricardo as well. And we'll let you kick this off.
All right, thank you. So Emergency Preparedness Month is a national campaign that the county participates in each year. As you guys remember the Texas flash flood that occurred a few months ago, that was really a stark reminder that every single person in our community has a role to play in preparedness. We can send out all the alerts, we can give people information, we can give them resources, but if they don't act on that, then we're not going to be able to prevent harm in our community. So and with our disasters, Larimer County is kind of known for our disasters. We've had a few pretty big ones in the county. As we move further away from our recent disasters, the threat that exists is complacency within our community. People not thinking that floods are going to happen here, not thinking that fires will happen here. And people will forget and they'll stop paying attention. So Emergency Preparedness Month is just a reminder to our community members. Our hazards are mostly weather-based here in the county. So every day we have some risk of harm depending on how the weather is going to treat us that day. And so everyone, again, has a role to play in this. Ricardo and Camille in our Office of Emergency Management, both are kind of they spearhead our preparedness and outreach efforts in the county and do an excellent job. So Ricardo's going to talk more about our preparedness efforts for this month. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Lori, and welcome, Ricardo.
All right. Good morning. My name is Ricardo Perez, Emergency Management Coordinator. I wanted just to highlight some of the activities that community members can engage with our office throughout the month. But as Lori mentioned, Emergency Preparedness Month is just a month to encourage folks to take preparedness action activities throughout kind of their households. It's also a great month to just take small steps into preparedness and whatever that may look like for their homes. But some of the things that we have going on are, so our office does emergency preparedness classes and workshops throughout the year. In the last few years, we've averaged about 20 to 23 workshops or classes that we do in the community, either at libraries, community organizations, at our county facilities, that are just open to the public to encourage folks to learn more about signing up for emergency alerts, how to build a go kit, how to have a communication plan at home. And then we also, over the last few years, we've also averaged, apart from those kind of classes and workshops, around 24 outreach events that we participate, that we're sharing our emergency preparedness guides in English and Spanish, sharing information about emergency alerts, and then really just engaging and learning from community members what they're sensing around kind of their homes through the seasons on emergency preparedness, and seeing how we can improve our outreach that we're doing. September 13 is the Northern Colorado Hero Fest, which is the 4th annual first responder really celebration. Our office has been partnering with Canvas Credit Union Foundation. They started putting together this Hero Fest 4 years ago, and prior to that, our office had been putting together the Emergency Preparedness Expo with regional partners. So in 2022, we held our kind of last Emergency Preparedness Expo with county partners, emergency management, and we attended NOCO Hero Fest for the first time. Our office had an outreach booth there, sharing emergency preparedness guide, emergency alert info. And then in 2023, we combined the Emergency Preparedness Expo that our office was organizing, and then we combined with Hero Fest. So now Hero Fest is that big event that we're combining efforts. We're grateful for that partnership with the Campus Credit Union Foundation, that they would like to celebrate first responders, incorporate all of the emergency management folks and organizations that are working. That's September 13th. It's at the Front Range Village Center in Fort Collins from 10 a.m. to 2. So there'll be over 50 first responder nonprofit businesses, kind of sharing information, family friendly and free event. Another item I'll kind of share about is the resilience survey that our office currently has open. So our office there's a lot of research out there that better connected communities are better able to respond to and recover from disasters and emergencies. So this is an effort from our office to try and understand how to improve our outreach and preparedness efforts for the community. So any input that our community members can share on this resilience survey will really help us improve our programs and how do we kind of address some of the gaps that we have in the outreach preparedness throughout the county. But yeah, it helps us learn, and any input that community members share with us will definitely help us improve the outreach and have opportunities for people to engage. I've talked about kind of signing up for emergency alerts, but people can do that obviously at nocoalert.org. There's many ways for people to sign up for emergency alerts, and we encourage folks to do so. But yeah, the last piece I wanted to share is that all of our information is on our larimer.gov/emergency website. So signing up for emergency classes, they can reach out to any of our staff. If folks would like a specific presentation, a short presentation on emergency alerts, go kits, all the things emergency preparedness. So, we put together kind of emergency preparedness workshops for anybody that is interested in hosting them. But we'll be doing that throughout September, and then leading on to the other months as well.
Thank you, Ricardo. Any questions for Ricardo or Lori before we read the proclamation? Commissioner Kafalis.
Just an easy one. You mentioned the resiliency survey. What is there a direct link that you could mention on while we're broadcasting?
Yeah, so it's on our homepage for emergency management, larimer.gov/emergency, and you can go to the resiliency and recovery section.
Great. Thank you. That's all.
I'll ask Commissioner Shattuck McNally then to read the proclamation and have the motion, and then we can make some comments.
Certainly, Madam Chair. I'm very proud to read this proclamation. As I sometimes say, all this work is kind of my jam, so thank you. Larimer County Proclamation declaring September 2025 Emergency Preparedness Month. Whereas Larimer County's severe weather extremes can significantly threaten the community members, employees of Larimer County by causing power outages, whiteout conditions, flooding, wildfires, mudslides, vehicle accidents, and washed out roads. And whereas National Preparedness Month is a nationwide coordinated effort sponsored by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security each September to encourage Americans to prepare for emergencies in their homes, businesses, and schools. And whereas the Board of County Commissioners recognizes the benefit of having an informed public for home and family preparedness, including community members, employees, individuals with household pets, and individuals with access and functional needs. And whereas during the month of September, Larimer County will urge employees and community members to take measures to make themselves and their families better prepared for emergencies. And whereas public events will occur in Larimer County throughout the month of September to educate community members about the risk of wildfire and flooding. And whereas Larimer County community members and employees can prepare for emergencies, help lessen the damage and destruction they cause, and help protect their lives and property if they are aware of precautions they can take before and during emergency situations. Most importantly, training helps to enhance the safety of the county's greatest asset, our people. Kind of what I had said earlier in the other. I must have kind of thought, I didn't know that, but that's great. I hadn't read this all the way through. So therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Larimer County, Colorado, that the month of September 2025 be designated as Emergency Preparedness Month, done and ordered on this second day of September 2025. Madam Chair, I move to approve the proclamation declaring September 2025 as Emergency Preparedness Month.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion? Commissioner Shattuck McNally.
Thank you. I was at meet him and talking with some other commissioners and others counties about emergency preparedness wildfires and stuff. And one of them said to me, and I kind of repeated back, was that, kind of that mantra of plan, prepare, prevail, plan, prepare, prevail. And I know you guys have a different mantra, but it's really important for our communities to understand the value of preparing for these events. Unfortunately, Larimer County, kind of born and raised in this region, since a child, I know how we have learned through tragedy of preparing for things we never thought could ever happen here, but they have, and we're in a new area of mega fires and post-fire flooding and this historic flooding that most communities don't have to think about in other parts of the country. And we know that preparedness and raising awareness and helping educate the public is really, it's an investment. It's less costly than learning through tragedy, and having folks help themselves and building those resiliency hubs around the county is extremely valuable. And I know you have all been instrumental in developing those resiliency hubs and reaching out to people in more remote parts of the county, especially like Tahosa Valley. You came up and helped me connect that community, and I want to thank you for that, because they can, I know exactly where my cell service stops on Highway 7. I'm sure the sheriff does too. And so you know exactly where that is and where it starts and where you need to be. And certain areas of the county, there's certainly areas that if they're not prepared, help is trying to get to them, but they need to be able to help them and their neighbors. So I appreciate all the work that you do. And, even Ben Franklin, said, by failing to prepare, you're preparing to fail. And failure is now an option here when it comes to the safety and welfare of our community and our visitors. And I just want to thank you for bringing this coming forward, and thank you for the work to organize and build relationships with our partners, and the partnerships and the collaboration, because that also, I think, is what I call the Larimer way is really special about this county and so important. And how we get things done around here is that through collaboration and making sure that we are building relationships beforehand through this preparedness is extremely invaluable. And one of the things that I love best about our county, and you all and your team are, along with our sheriff and other first responders and other important partners, are really the magic sauce that builds those relationships. So just want to say thank you for the work you do. It's really, literally saves lives. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything to add, Commissioner Kafalas?
Sure. But it's not much more I can add. I just appreciate the work and the partnerships with the Sheriff's Office and Emergency Services. I think we provide a lot of amazing leadership and examples of how this work ought to be done. And I think maybe Ricardo said this, that it's really important to take note of and take away from our conversation, and that is, if major events are not happening all the time, it's easy to get a bit complacent. Everything's fine. We're not going to have a major fire or a flood or a wind event or something like that. So I think that's really important, just to keep this front and center for folks to gauge. And then I guess finally I would offer anything that we can do in our proper role as county government, county organization, to encourage neighborliness. That gets back to the social capital that you all talk about and the whole resiliency thing. But I think if we can encourage neighborliness, that's something we've kind of lost a little bit here and there. So that to me, that's one of the most important things. Thank you all so much for your work, and Laurie, for your amazing leadership and showing people from Puerto Rico to Australia or wherever the heck you go, Antarctica to the penguins, to inform them about the proper way to recover from disasters and adapt and mitigate, in preparation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just extend my thanks to Lori, you and your team, for the remarkable work that you do. Kind of as Commissioner Kafalas and Commissioner Shattuck McNally said, sort of building this community resilience is just a really big piece of that. Is we can't all be there to help folks, but teaching people how to help themselves is just so really important. And as we just celebrated the 5-year anniversary of the Cameron Peak Fire, and met with some of the neighbors in the Upper Pooter area. They do know each other, and some of that has been through some hardship, and so, but just reminding ourselves that this could happen at any moment, as you said, that we don't know what the weather, although we're going to have a report from the sheriff later on. Weather conditions can change on a dime in Colorado, and some people just aren't aware of some of the obstacles we face. But just having people prepared is really remarkable in preventing deaths and preventing injuries, and preventing situations where we're searching for folks. And so you often see people in their darkest days. I think you see a lot of people who have suffered a lot and a lot of loss, and so all the more reason that we need to prepare on the front end to make sure that that's not catastrophic for some folks. So thank you again for your work, and thanks for telling us about some of the events that are happening, including Hero Fest. Would encourage the community to come out. And will you also be at the Risk Canyon? Is that this coming weekend as well? So we love to see you out in the community. You're at all the events, and I'm really trying to bring this home to people how important this is. So remarkable work. So with that, we have a motion on the table. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 3-0. We'll stop and take a photo with the proclamation, and then we'll let you be on your way.
All right, thanks.
Okay, we are back with our third item on our agenda, and that is a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners authorizing and approving a lease purchase agreement for the ranch expansion project to be undertaken by the county, and in connection therewith, a site lease, indenture of trust, an official statement, and related documents and transactions, all of which lead to a very big packet of so we welcome Lori Lopez, our finance director, and team to explain this item.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Lori Lopez, and I'm the finance director here for the county. Real briefly, if I could, before I get started on my agenda item, I just wanted to say how excited I was to see that I was on the same agenda as Mark Johnston and the good work that he does. Many years ago, we won't say how many, I had a circumstance that required me to step away from my education. And when I was ready to come back, it was a workforce development department in another community that helped me get back on track. And I credit them for being where I am today.
Well, we credit them as well, because we are so delighted that you're in your role.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So today we're excited to talk about continuing the financing terms for the ranch master plan, the phase 2 projects, which we talked about in great detail at a work session last Monday. And so I want to remind listeners that if they want to review the details of that discussion, they can go back to that work session and listen in. And today our primary objective is to sign the resolution which authorizes us to move forward with issuing the certificates of participation. I believe when we had the work session last week, we weren't exactly sure that how much tax exempt certificates we were going to issue versus how many or how much taxable. Right now, we haven't completely finalized it yet, but right now it's looking like 75% tax exempt and 25% taxable. And that is because of the private use out at the ranch. It will also give Connor and his team some flexibility in structuring management contracts, excuse me. Okay, with that, I also have with me, I wanted to introduce Andrew Ma. He is with Piper Sandler, and they are our underwriters for this transaction. And Stacy Mast from Stiefel, and she is a municipal advisor for us on this transaction. And I hope you'll forgive me. This is my first time doing a resolution before you, so I'm not really sure that my exact words, but we are here to get that side today.
Great. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you, Andrew and Stacy, for being here as well in support. We did go over this quite a bit on August 25th and got a lot of questions answered, but there may be some additional questions that have come up. So I don't know if commissioners, if you have any questions that you want to, you don't have any. Commissioner Shattuck McNally.
Laura, I appreciate the update on the taxable and versus tax exempt. That was great to hear. And I want to thank you for bringing the team today. We've had some very informative work sessions on this, and you guys did a great job along with Connor and Leslie and the whole team on kind of walking us through, the opportunities here, but also, things to be, to be wary, well, not wary, but think about and be concerned and walked about and talked about. So I really want to thank you for your leadership here. And I know, you stepped into a role that has a lot going on in the county. And so just, I know you really drilled in on this and just embraced this and took this on. And I just wanted to thank you for that, because it has been really great to see you thrive in this role and the information you've brought. And it really inspires confidence that, Lori, the people that you brought with you, that we're getting the best information we can get. And I wanted to thank you for that. So.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much.
Thank you, Lori. So, just as a reminder to the general public, this is certificates of participation issued for $110 million that will help with phase 2 projects at the ranch. Some of those projects will be paid through this financing, and some will be sort of pay as you go. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and then. And you explained the tax exempt, some will be taxable and some will be tax exempt of the certificates.
Correct.
And that's due to the nature of some of the private work that's done at the ranch, including things like naming rights and things like that. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And then when would, I think that we'll know the interest rates in October, is that right?
Yes,
Okay.
we'll know interest rates as we get closer to closing, and closing is scheduled for October 14th right now.
Okay, wonderful. And then just as a reminder, we are collecting enough in sales tax for the debt service on those. So we had verified that even figuring out sales tax conservatively, that there will be plenty of dollars to cover that. Is that right?
That is correct. We took a very conservative approach to the collections of sales tax. And even with that conservative approach, we will collect more than what's needed for the debt service.
Great, wonderful. And that will help with some of the pay-as-you-go kind of items that are going to happen.
Absolutely. And it will also, being able to pay as you go, will also reduce the amount of taxable debt that we need to issue as well, or taxable bonds.
Thank you. And then for the public, just reminder that phase 2 will include things like the great lawns. We'll be able to have really bigger outdoor events. So really kind of re-envisioning what the ranch can be as far as an entertainment venue and a public venue for our community. So just a lot of things. The goal here is to make sure that we're self-sufficient, that we are not reliant on the tax, hopefully beyond 2039. Is that when the tax expires?
That's correct. And we've also structured the payments to end in 2039 as well. So the COPs will be paid off when the sales tax sunsets.
Right, perfect. Well, I'll ask Lorenda if she has any questions or comments before we make a motion here.
I would like to add, this has been a slow and thoughtful, methodical process. So while it looks like we had a work session and now we're here signing these papers, this has been going on for probably 2 years, really in earnest for the last 1 year, working on the projects, identifying the projects in the master plan and their cost, nailing down all of the details around this, making sure that we're not taking on more than that tax can cover. And so I want to just stress, we really are being good stewards of public resources, following through on our commitment to the community and carrying out that master plan, which folks can find on the ranch website. I encourage you to go look at it. It's really exciting. Lori started by saying this is an exciting day, and it's right. This is the culmination of many, many months of work from a lot of different folks, from Connor at the ranch to these financial people to Leslie and to Lori Cadrich. Everyone has been involved. I see even our attorneys in the back of the room. I don't think any hands have not touched this. So I want, I guess, to stress that to the public. This is taking on debt is never a light decision. You all have taken it very seriously, as have staff, and I feel like we're at a place now where we're ready to move on it. So thank you for the time to reiterate that.
Yeah, thank you, Lorenda. I appreciate that. And it does, and we have a high credit rating, and that that helps our ability to take on the debt and to get a lower interest rate and to potentially take on more debt if we were to need it. So it doesn't impair our ability to do that in the future. And those were some of the questions that were asked. And then, as far as the ranch goes, I mean, this is really exciting. Just some of the great event spaces that we're going to have at the ranch. I mean, we're already bringing in really high quality, great acts, and this will just improve our ability to do that. And then from the sort of the public service angle, like a lot of people ask about our support for 4-H, and just want to say that this is all things that help support 4-H. So 4-H can use a lot of these buildings without any cost, 4-H clubs and equine groups, and these are the things that make that possible. And so this is not just an event arena. This is a space for all. And we know that we've done a lot of work with bringing in large animals during fires and other kinds of work at this event. We've done vaccination clinics and all kinds of things. So this is a space for everyone, and it's going to be even more fun than it already is. So thank you. All right. So I thank you for being here. Any further questions or anything else before we move on? Go ahead, Commissioner Kafalis.
Yeah, well, I'm curious if Andrew or Stacy were meant to say anything, if there's anything they wish to add. But also to clarify, I think Lori, when you mentioned about the amortization or paying back the certificates of participation, the financing mechanism, isn't it the tax-exempt COPs that would be paid back by 2039, but the taxable ones will be paid it's a shorter period, is it not? Could you clarify that, please?
Yes, the debt service is structured so that all of the bonds, the certificates will be paid off by 2039.
Okay.
We're gonna pay off the taxable certificates first.
Does Stacy want to?
Yeah, exactly. So just to clarify, we'll amortize the taxable piece first, since it's at a higher interest rate, and then the tax exempt will be after. But in all, they're structured to be fully paid off by 2039.
Thank you. And I don't know if Andrew had anything to add, did you?
Stacy covered that one.
Okay, perfect. All right, anything before we make the motion here? Okay. All right, I'll ask Commissioner Kafalis to make the motion on this item then.
Yes, thank you. And this is indeed exciting. A lot of thoughtfulness went into the process, and I imagine this will be a game changer for the ranch complex and certainly for Northern Colorado as far as a wonderful venue to bring folks together, families, economic development, all of those benefits that will come from this project. And we're doing it as good financial stewards.
Yes.
I move to approve the resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Larimer County, Colorado, authorizing and approving a lease purchase agreement for the ranch expansion project and to be undertaken by the county, and in connection therewith, a site lease, indenture of trust, an official statement, and related documents and transactions.
Thank you, Commissioner. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 3-0. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to our fourth and final item, which is a resolution extending fire restrictions in Larimer County. We are lucky enough to have our very own Sheriff, John Fayen, here with us to talk about this topic. And welcome, Sheriff.
Lucky enough. Greetings, Commissioners. John Fan, Larimer County Sheriff. That's really loud. I'm really loud. Okay. So, a couple weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, we came before you and asked for fire restrictions just because of the changing weather patterns. I am here today to recommend the continuation of those for another 28 days. So basically, they expire. The current ones expire tonight at 11:59 p.m. I would ask that they continue until Tuesday, September 30th at 11:59 p.m. as well. That gives us a little bit of time. Then it's really convenient to do it on admin matter days. That way we can talk about continuation like we are currently, or if we want to go that route. But let me tell you a little bit. So this is an ultra-conservative recommendation to the board because right now only very few of our indices indicate that we should continue with the fire restrictions. Most of them, with a few exceptions, have changed to the point where they say that no restrictions are recommended at this point. Matter of fact, our agency, our regional partners are probably meeting at noon today to talk about what the Forest Service is going to do and other BLM is going to do as well. The thought is they may pull back starting Monday of next week. Here's my recommendation. Here's why I'm recommending what I am. Is because it gets confusing. If you remember, we went to a topographic-based restriction for 6,000 feet below, 6,000 to 9,000 feet, and then 9,000 feet and above. Everywhere, thankfully, due to that wonderful cool and wet weather that we had the past couple of weeks, made everything look much, much better. Looking at the forecast for the next week, anyway, it's also looking a lot wetter. We look at relative humidities and winds and those kinds of things, so that's looking good. However, as you all know, September can still be very, very dry in Colorado, especially in Larimer County. I'd like to get a little bit deeper into the month before we start talking about pulling back those restrictions. So why not just do a 2-week restriction? Because it's easier to... This keeps it in place should it get dry. We're probably good for the next 2 to 3 weeks with the weather that we've had. If we continue in this wet, high relative humidity pattern, then probably we can talk about in 2 weeks pulling that off. I don't want to get to the point where the public has to continually go, are we in? Are we not? Are we out? Are we in? Am I going to get in trouble? And understand what this does. If you're camping in an existing camp area at Forest Service or Larimer County one, you can still have your fires. You can have your fires in your permanently mounted masonry or metal fire rings. You can still have gas power, basically things with an on-off switch. Your gas grill, you can still do that. Your propane-powered campfire, you can still do those kinds of things. You just can't put the rocks around the ring in the middle of the forest and light a fire. There's a few other things, but basically that's the gist of it. So it's not going to impact the folks who want to go out and enjoy the fall weather, who have the leaves change, who want to go see the elk bugle and are camping in our campgrounds. So that's why, just an abundance of caution at this point, is that I recommend that we continue these restrictions until September 30th at 11:59 p.m. And again, with the opportunity of always pulling them back if it starts getting wet and Lori's calling floods instead of fires. Questions?
Do you, Sheriff? Questions for the Sheriff? Commissioner Shattuck McNally?
Thank you, Sheriff. And we know we're not quite out of the season when we had a fire last night just south of our borders in Boulder County, up high in the just east of Highway 7, just south of our county lines. But these things don't know. Fires and floods don't care about lines and jurisdictions and things. So I'm also curious. As we go forward, and we're also looking at some winds and some other conditions that are changing, the forecasts predict this, but every once in a while we get a day that pops up that comes and changes. So is that all? I guess what I'm saying is I appreciate your conservative approach. I think it gives everyone kind of a little more sigh of relief, just to maybe think that there's a little bit of protection out there, because we're not quite out of the woods since our fire season's year round. I see that that your crews are out doing mitigation work and also responding. Is there any other things that kind of give you pause, or that you're thinking about as we try to get through this, at the end of this year without any major events?
Well, and that's a great question. So we look at, basically, as I look at the indices, there's basically two. One is fuel and weather, things that we don't have a lot of control over. Other ones are also planning levels. And so the indices that indicate that we should stay in restriction all have to do with planning levels or preparedness levels. So what are the resources in the Rocky Mountain region? What are the resources nationally? What are the resources locally? And you're right. I mean, our Phantom Canyon crew just was dispatched to Delta last night. And so we have a shortage of firefighters who can address those kinds of issues. So those are the kinds of things that give me a little bit of pause. It's not just the local weather that has an impact on some of these decisions. It's how quickly we can get folks out there to stop, a 100 square foot fire from becoming a 100-acre fire, a 1,000-acre fire.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate your partnership.
Likewise.
Anything, Commissioner Capolis, go ahead.
Just appreciate also, thank you very much, Sheriff Fayen. Remind us again, so the extension of the fire restrictions apply to, you mentioned that how we've gone to a topography or elevation model, apply to 6,000 feet and higher. Is that correct?
So there's three of them in Larimer County, and it's based upon what the National Weather Service does. Yes, 6,000 feet and 9,000 feet are the demarcation lines.
Right.
So there's 6,000 below and 9,000 above, and then 6 to 9 in the middle.
But the fire restrictions apply to areas above 6,000.
I misunderstood your question. Yes, the fire restrictions apply to the areas above 6,000 feet.
Okay. I was just curious, as an aside, I saw on social media, unfortunately, that there's a 12,000 acre fire in Wyoming. Is that correct? And do you know anything about that?
I don't know anything about that. I apologize.
Thank you for your good work, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I don't have any questions. Thank you for, kind of explaining why you're considering extending this, and that makes sense to me. It is unpredictable, and we don't want to give off false kind of we're retracting them, we're putting them back in place, we're doing this, right? And so, I think this makes sense. And as you said, this shouldn't really preclude people from having fun in the mountains. Just has to, make your fires where they're allowed, and those are in the established fire rings, and not just building one on the side of the road. So that does make sense to me. And like I said, I don't think it stops anybody from their enjoyment or the work that they want to do in the mountains. So I'm definitely in support and appreciate you being here in person to talk to us about this. With that, I'll ask Commissioner Shattuck McNally to make a motion.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the resolution extending fire restrictions in Larimer County effective 12 a.m. on Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025 through 11:59 p.m. on Tuesday, September 30th, 2025.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 3-0. Thank you, Sheriff.
Commissioners, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Thanks for being here. Well, we will move on to our next agenda item, which is our county manager update. Lorinda.
Thank you. I'll be relatively brief, but I wanted to say it struck me this morning that counties' roles are often to be this unseen safety net, and these two proclamations that you all approved today really do support that. This idea of supporting businesses and workers of all abilities, veterans, And the work that they do at the Workforce Center and Economic Development is outstanding. Likewise, emergency management, this idea of preparedness, it's both a community concern and a personal concern. If I'm not ready to go, if my area gets evacuated, then someone else has to bring resources to bear on me, and we owe it to each other to sort of hold each other up. So if anyone is thinking about, I don't know if this applies to me, it does, and the class is fun, and you should go do it, and you will create more community around it if they bring their information to your community meeting as well. So I can't say enough good things about the work that both of those organizations do to support the community in many ways that are unseen, but are really, really critical to the community. And then just briefly, we're still in the midst of budget meetings. We're meeting with every department and office. We had 5 more of those meetings this past week. We have even more coming up this week, and we'll continue to do that as we work through our budget cycle. Commissioner Stevens and I met with Chief Judge Susan Blanco, Greg Oddie in probation, and Carrie Hong in administration at the courts to talk about space and security issues. Those are really foundational organization decisions that need to be made in both the state and the county are dealing with, of course, not enough resources to do what everyone would like to do. And I really appreciate the relationship we have with the Chief Judge and with her team. It is outstanding. I know not all counties experience that, and I want to say thank you. We really, really do. We can have good, candid, productive conversations. Similarly, I met with the sheriff last week. He and I spent a few hours together talking about various issues that affect the sheriff's office and county operations. So thank you, Sheriff, for that. And Poudre School District Superintendent Brian Kingsley and I meet every other month, and we did meet last week as well. They've had a great start to school, a little slow with having to take some half days because of heat, but it seems like things are underway and they're beginning their school year in earnest. So those are my updates. Thank you.
Thank you, Lorinda. Any questions or comments for Lorinda? All right, thanks, Lorinda. Appreciate that. We will move on to Commissioner activity reports, and we'll start with Commissioner Cavales.
Yeah, I'll pass. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Shattuck McNally.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, I'd just like to thank everyone. What a very exciting morning, lots of positive news, and I appreciate all the work our staff do, especially emergency management and our sheriff's department. And it's great to see all these partnerships and good work being done. I want to, as in our audience is our Community Planning Infrastructure Resources Director, Leslie Ellis, who her and I went up to the Estes Park Town Board meeting and shared the transportation master plan and safety plan, and then I spoke about some of the ballot measure that we put on the ballot, and also Heidi Pruis and Abby Stapleton were up there presenting on the Climate Smart partnership or climate action partnership they're doing with Estes Park, and it was a great conversation. And they had lots of questions, and I appreciate the engagement. And thank you, Mayor Hall, for his kind words and his warm welcome. It's really valued, and thank you, Leslie. It's always a good day and wonderful evening. And whether it's night or day, they said, "Oh, well, we're sorry there's so many clouds. It'd be more sun next time." I'm like, any day we're up in Estes Park in the Valley is a great day. Snow, rain is just always good. Not maybe a wildfire though, but other things. So that was great, and appreciate again the partnership. I did attend the North Dakota Fort Collins Business Association meeting, and that's where I had learned from the Monarcha group about the group that helping small businesses with climate and helping with little things to help shave off expenses. And really proud Larimer County and City of Fort Collins are supporting that. Learn lots of cool things, and just appreciate the ability and time to highlight that, and thanks the businesses supporting other businesses in that way. They were very excited to talk about how they were glad to be supporting other businesses. And then we got kind of an update firsthand from Seth Forward about the fire that happened at the Fort Collins Rescue Mission, very unfortunate, and talking about some of the things they're going through and how we can help support them all. So I want to just again send my regards to them, and hopefully that is the conditions are improving. I know they have a lot of work ahead of them. Met with the Overland Mountain Biking Club, or group and talking about some of the work they've been doing in the U.S. Forest Service in trail conditions and some of the trails they've been building in partnership, and kind of just they're really thrilled about the Bay to Bay Trail. As I shared with the DNR staff last week, I did 3.5 miles on that trail just to get out and about and try to do something different, and I saw 23 mountain bikers, 11 hikers, and 5 of those hikers were children, and there was 8 dogs, and so it was, and they were all on leash and doing the right thing, and it was just really everyone just raving about that trail, and so I appreciate the feedback. I attended the Climate Smart series that Heidi Pruis does, talking about how things go from concepts and policy work up to legislation, and I thought that was really impactful and appreciate the work that they did to organize that. I attended the Biz West Women of Distinction. There to support I knew half of the awardees. It was really a fun evening. Got to see lots of alumni. It was great conversations and really a great positive buzz in the room about just some of the women leaders in our community. And it seems just really appropriate, again, as we're so close to Women's Equality Day. Appreciate going to our EDI advisory board and hearing again impactful stories from the folks that are our clients and serving those services. Just really powerful stories, and thank you to Emily Humphrey and her team. Just amazing work. And then I was very glad to be presenting to the Northern National Organization of Women's Fort Collins chapter at the Senior Center. They brought some cake to celebrate Women's Equality Day. It was a nice, robust group, and I shared kind of a day in the life of a commissioner, and it was really impactful for me, and I just really appreciate their kindness and just kind of supporting the work that we do. We had a meeting with some of the counselors from the city of Loveland. That continues. I met with District Ranger Sugg from the U.S. Forest Service. That was a great conversation and meeting. Went to this Colorado Commissioners Counties Acting Together interim August policy meeting. Lots of work and conversations we're having there about the upcoming session and the special session. We had the Regional Opioid Abatement Council meeting. We did approve out of our kind of equity or impacted communities bucket some work to help people who maybe need Spanish peer-to-peer support, or for communities who are trying to help who might need extra supports from marginalized communities to prevention and outreach for opioid abatement and fentanyl awareness. And so I'm really grateful for that work. We heard from lots of groups and around the county, and I want to thank Dr. Gerald Olson, Laura Walker, Amy Martonis, and Tom Gonzalez, as they all work together to help us as a community look at what we're looking at our next allocation, about $2.5 million. It's starting to come down with the opioid abatement money that's from this opiate settlement. And so next year we're looking at smaller buckets, but also recommendations for those buckets going forward and what those amounts look like, and recommendations. And we'll be continue that conversation going forward. Just want to let my colleagues know about that. And then we had the OLAB and Parks Advisory Board joint meeting. It was well attended and went all the way to the end. And we had updated some of, I wanted my colleagues to know, they updated kind of the rules and regulations document to make it probably thousands and thousands of words, and they probably cut out half of those words. And so that was very good to see, and looking at making it simpler and making the fines simpler to understand. And then also we had some reviews of some of the conservation easements coming forward. It was really a fun day. I attended the plein air festival in Estes Park. Plein air is where the artists go out into the park and paint kind of right there out in the park, paint what they see, and got to see the Mayor's Award. And it was interesting. The one that won got all the awards. It was very striking, kind of pond reflection around Lumpy Ridge, and so it was just, or Bear Lake maybe, and it was just really great to see that. I attended the farmers market, and then the Loveland Housing Task Force had a Loveland House chat, and that was great to have. I wasn't planning on speaking. I was there to listen, but they asked to share about what the county does, so I did. And it was a really robust group, and several folks said, "Oh, I didn't know the county did that. I didn't know the county had done that." So I think it was valuable. And then I just stopped very briefly because it was huge. The realities for children, bike rally, and car show. It was just massive amount of people, and so I probably lots of people were there that I passed by. It was just amazing how many people were there, and a really popular event close to my house. And then just attended some of the Labor Day activities in Loveland yesterday, which I want to thank all the organizers. And then just, Madam Chair, I'd just like to share with everyone over the weekend is a very, as you know, I'm really big on night sky, especially for bird migration. And just wanted to share with you all, if you haven't, if you go to my social media, it's called dashboard.birdcast.info. But we are in the middle of bird migration in Colorado since September, August 30th, and even till now. And a lot of people maybe don't know that night skies can really impact birds' migration. They actually migrate at night because it's cooler, and the amount of just how much they cross over a region. And so since in Colorado, since this bird migration really started at the end of August, which you can see it on this cast how much it really spiked August 30th and 31st, but almost it will be over 7 million, but just 6 million already have been at flight at night. Last night, 2.4 million birds crossed Colorado. This morning, and the reason I bring this up this morning, in my backyard were some birds I don't really see but once a year, and also kind of shows you the kind of birds you might see, and then and kind of the birds average flight. But it's really, I ask everyone to consider maybe turning off their lights and their porch lights the next few nights, and just to help aid these birds and other migrating birds and pollinators and stuff as they're migrating in this massive kind of Super Bowl of migration across our state and through our region. And just, maybe reduce your nighttime lights and maybe turn things off earlier just to help aid, because it is impacting their safety and their successful migration. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Just to add a couple things that I did last week, I attended the open house for the Crawford Child Advocacy Center. So this is a group that does forensic interviews with children that can be used in court. Majority of the children that they see have been victims of sexual assault, but also children who have experienced physical assault or witnessed domestic violence. And so those, as was said, the forensic interviews can be used in court, and so really a valuable service that they provide for our community, and a warm, welcoming place for kids to feel comfortable to share some very traumatic details. So really great to learn about their mission. They also do some prevention work in the school district as well, and work in the school district. So a great organization that I think at least I didn't know a lot about. Then on Thursday, we had the CCAT interim policy meeting where we recapped special session and talked about the additional cuts that the governor is going to make to the budget. We also had a lot of concerns expressed at both that meeting and the meeting that we had on Friday around the executive order around housing and the potential strategic growth policy that the governor's office is contemplating. Some of which were things that were identified in Senate Bill 174. Some things that are acknowledged in state statute, like 1041 regulations, and then some things that really haven't been discussed in either, especially around water planning. So it will be interesting to sort of dig into that document and see, what kind of effects that might have, and definitely want to make sure that we provide comments on that, because these are, they're potentially, if these are legislative items that come forward, or governor's orders that come forward, some of them might be easier than others to comply with. So we'll kind of keep our eyes on those. And there was certainly concern expressed at both CCAP meetings on Thursday and Friday about what it looks like to be compliant with some of those orders. So to be continued with that. And then just on Thursday evening, had our Urban Renewal Authority meeting for the city of Fort Collins, where we adopted our budget. And also, I think that's mostly what we did, was adopt our budget. I guess we also agreed on some terms for a loan that's going out to kind of through an intermediary, but from the Urban Renewal Authority, for the middle income housing that's happening in the North College corridor. That's a pretty exciting development that's going to happen, to have middle income housing in that space. And then just a reminder to folks that the Fort Collins Urban Renewal Authority did buy the old Albertsons building, which was vacant for decades. And we will see, hopefully that will be a home for some community services and community activities. And so really excited to try to activate that space and make sure that that space is being used well. And that's the job of urban renewal authorities, is to remediate blight. And certainly an abandoned building that's been abandoned for decades does constitute blight. And so as we're working on other kind of hotels, on nuisance hotels and nuisance properties on that corridor, it looks like maybe that the budget host will be also coming down soon. And very exciting things happen on the North College corridor that the Urban Renewal Authority has really been active in pursuing this remediation of blight. And so really proud to be on that board. That is it for me. And so with that, we don't have any legal items this morning. So at 10:48, we are adjourned. We'll see you next week. Larimer County. Take care.